Imagine you're a merchant in medieval Cairo. You wake up one morning expecting a normal day. By sunset, gold, the most valuable thing in the world, has become noticeably less valuable. Not because of a war, not because a new gold mine was discovered, but because one man gave away too much money. This isn't fiction. It's the true story of Mansa Musa, the richest person who may have ever lived, and the journey to Mecca that literally changed the economy of an entire region. It's the year 1324. Europe is struggling through the Middle Ages. Many kingdoms are poor. Most people have never seen more than a few gold coins in their entire lives. Meanwhile, deep in West Africa sits an empire most Europeans barely know exists: the Mali Empire. Stretching across vast trade routes, Mali controls something the rest of the world desperately wants: gold. Lots of it. Some historians estimate Mali produced nearly half of the world's known gold during this period. And sitting on top of all that wealth was Mansa Musa. Mansa means emperor, but emperor doesn't really capture it. He rules cities, mines, armies, scholars, traders, and one of the most powerful economies on earth. Modern economists have tried converting his fortune into today's money. Some estimates exceed $400 billion. Others simply give up because his wealth wasn't just enormous, it was impossible to measure. As a devout Muslim, Mansa Musa decided to complete one of Islam's greatest religious obligations, the Hajj, a pilgrimage from Mali to Mecca. Today you can fly there in hours. Back then, it meant crossing the Sahara Desert, thousands of miles, months of travel, extreme heat, bandits, disease, and endless sand. But Mansa Musa wasn't traveling like an ordinary pilgrim. He was traveling like the richest ruler on earth. Imagine standing in the desert. A cloud of dust appears on the horizon. At first, you think it's a sandstorm. Then you realize it's moving closer, closer. Soon you see thousands of people, not hundreds, thousands. Historical accounts describe an astonishing procession: around 60,000 people, soldiers, officials, servants, merchants, musicians, workers, slaves dressed in luxurious silk, camels stretching farther than the eye could see. Some reports claim around 100 camels carried nothing but gold, each camel loaded with hundreds of pounds of the precious metal. It wasn't just a royal procession, it was a moving city. Everywhere Mansa Musa stopped, he spent. He bought food, he bought supplies, he rewarded guides, he donated generously to the poor. He handed out gold to scholars, rulers, and religious leaders. He funded mosques, he supported communities. His generosity became legendary. People had never seen anything like it. Imagine someone walking into your city today and casually giving away billions of dollars. People celebrated. Merchants became wealthy overnight. Entire communities prospered at first. Then something unexpected happened. Gold started losing value because suddenly there was too much of it. Economics has a simple rule: the more abundant something becomes, the less valuable it usually is. Gold was supposed to be rare. Mansa Musa had accidentally flooded local markets with enormous amounts of it. Prices shifted, inflation rose, merchants struggled to adjust, currencies became unstable. The effects reportedly lingered for years in places like Cairo. One man's generosity had unintentionally disrupted regional economies. When Mansa Musa reached Cairo, stories about him spread like wildfire. People crowded the streets just to see him. The Sultan invited him to court. At first, Musa reportedly refused to bow before the Sultan, explaining that he bowed only to God. Eventually, diplomacy prevailed and the meeting continued respectfully. But what truly stunned Cairo wasn't politics, it was wealth. Every official, every merchant, every observer left with the same conclusion: they had never seen anyone this rich. From Cairo, Mansa Musa continued his journey to Mecca. At this time, he had distributed most of the gold that he brought with him. He got to Mecca, performed his pilgrimage, and went back to Mali quietly. Most people remember Mansa Musa for his wealth, but his greatest legacy wasn't money, it was knowledge. After returning to Mali, he invested heavily in education. He built mosques, libraries, universities. He transformed Timbuktu into one of the world's greatest centers of learning. Students traveled from across Africa and beyond. Scholars copied thousands of manuscripts. Astronomy, medicine, law, mathematics, religion, literature. Long before many Europeans had heard of Timbuktu, it had become one of the intellectual capitals of the medieval world. News of Mansa Musa spread across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Map makers began drawing Mali onto world maps. One famous medieval map even shows him holding a giant piece of gold. His pilgrimage didn't just demonstrate wealth, it put an African empire on the global stage. Centuries later, people still debate whether anyone has ever been richer. Not Elon Musk, not Jeff Bezos, not Rockefeller, not even Augustus Caesar with certainty, because Mansa Musa controlled the world's most valuable resource during one of history's greatest gold economies. And perhaps the most incredible part of his story is that he became so generous, he accidentally made gold less valuable. Only one person in history could become famous for giving away too much money, and that person was Mansa Musa. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more unbelievable true events from history, subscribe and join us for the next journey into the past.